All right, let's have a look at the incline bench. So, first of all, the difference between the flat bench and the incline bench is that when you're doing an incline bench, and today's we're going to do it with a dumbbell, you are using, or you are stressing, more of the clavicular, aka the upper tit, more. And you're stressing the anterior delts, your front delts more. So why would you do this? Well, typically people would do this for more of an aesthetic reason, or they might use it as a way of building the shoulders up to then aid the flat bench, if you say a power lifter. So it's a really good secondary exercise. But typically it's used for aesthetic reasons and building up the shoulder whilst working on the upper part of the chest. Bodybuilders will often do this because they kind of see it as getting more bang for their buck, because they'll be more aesthetically pleasing doing this press. So we need to set up the bench. Obviously, as soon as I'm off the flat, we're into an incline. But you need to decide what degree of incline you're going to go for. I'll typically go for a 45. And often I'll take the lower part of the seat and I'll raise this so that when I'm in the bench, I am jammed into this part here. So we sit back and we're in the bench like so, okay? So let's get some dumbbells. So we'll take the 10s and let's look at how to get into position. So if you're using light enough dumbbells, you can simply lift them into position like so. As they get heavier, it gets harder. So you could kick, and fall back. Personally, I like to do this and fall and kick at the same time. And then we're in position, come down as far as we can, because of course we want the great big stretch on the pec and the shoulder here, squeezing the shoulder blades together a little bit at the back. And then we are going to press directly up and above the shoulder and squeeze in on the chest. Now, what's the difference between this and this? Simple. Here, the muscles in my chest are not as stretched, so that means I am in a stronger position. The greater the stretch, the weaker the position. So think of it like a squat. It's harder to get up from really far down than it is to get up from, say, above parallel. So coming down, big stretch in the chest. See the flare on the elbow? That's a nice place to start at the bottom. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just putting much more emphasis on the anterior delt, or the front delt. As I take the elbows down and I achieve this position at the bottom, I'm using more of the clavicular pec, aka the upper tit. Now, if I come right down here, I'm essentially just moving the stress off the shoulder a little bit. So we can utilize that. Of course, if you've got a dodgy shoulder, neutral position for the press is going to be good for you. What else? So with the incline dumbbell press, so we could also think about what our feet are doing. So here, boom, boom, feet planted down. We don't want this slip, losing balance, and then we've got a shit press. So feet planted in here. There's nothing wrong with putting your chin into your chest. Don't worry about that. If you like to do that, that's fine. And press. Make an effort to control where the dumbbell is going. We don't want it back here. We don't want it out here. Okay? If I come down here, I'm stressing the anterior delt again too much. Not too much. You could train like that if you wanted, but it's not optimal, because we know we're going to get less weight on this pec at that point. And we all know for muscle to grow, we want high degrees of mechanical tension on the muscle. That's all that fucking matters. So here, straight up above the shoulder and focus on where the dumbbell's going. Don't let your hands waver all over the place. It's a straight line up off the shoulder. That's the incline bench.